Lyra had always lived on the edge of the known systems, a fringe planet barely acknowledged by the Intergalactic Council. Its skies were a swirling palette of green and violet, the air thick with an electric charge that made her scales tingle when storms came. Lyra's kind were rare, known for their luminescent markings and empathic abilities. But rarity came at a price. Few saw them as anything other than curiosities or threats. On this day, Lyra was wandering the jagged cliffs that bordered her home, her mind restless, with the usual mix of curiosity and melancholy. She was 17 standard cycles old, an age when her species began to sense the deeper currents of the universe, the whispers of other worlds, the tremors of distant conflicts, and the faint echoes of civilizations long dead. Her violet eyes scanned the horizon, catching glimmers of what she hoped were not mere hallucinations. The world below was littered with jagged rocks and pools of phosphorescent liquid. Lyra often imagined that if she stared long enough, she could see the past etched into those stones. Today, though, something felt different. The energy in the air was sharp, almost tangible, and her instincts, honed by generations of survival in the wilderness, screamed that she was not alone. A sudden flash of light streaked across the sky, brighter than any meteor she had ever seen. It tore through the violet clouds and crashed beyond the cliffs with a thunderous boom that shook the ground beneath her feet. Lyra stumbled backward, her heart racing, scales vibrating with tension. A plume of smoke spiraled into the atmosphere, and a strange hum, mechanical yet organic, filled her ears. Cautiously, she approached the edge of the cliff. Through the drifting mist, she saw it, a sleek, metallic vessel, unlike anything her people had ever constructed. Its surface shimmered with a liquid-like iridescence, as if the ship itself were alive. Lyra's mind whirled with questions. Who could have arrived here, on this forgotten planet, and why? Before she could step closer, a hatch opened with a hiss. A figure emerged, moving with an effortless grace that made her heart thrum with a strange mixture of fear and fascination. He was human, or at least human in the broadest sense, with pale skin and dark hair, but there was something about him that defied expectations. He did not look like an invader or a conqueror. His eyes, wide and curious, scanned the terrain with wonder, as if he had landed not on a desolate world, but on the threshold of a dream. Lyra froze, uncertain whether to flee or approach. Her instincts urged caution, but something deep within told her that this human was different. He carried no weapons, no visible devices of war. Instead, he held a small, glowing orb that pulsed gently in his hand, casting shifting patterns of light across his face. "Hello," he called softly, his voice carrying a resonance that seemed almost to echo in Lyra's mind. "I don't mean to intrude. I think I've lost my way." Lyra's tail flicked nervously. Humans were unpredictable, and she had learned long ago that curiosity could be dangerous. Yet there was a sincerity in his tone, an honesty that resonated with her empathic senses. She stepped forward, her luminescent markings casting a faint glow on the rocks around her. "You're not supposed to be here," she said, her voice melodic, almost a song. The human tilted his head, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Neither are you," he replied. "But maybe this is exactly where we're both meant to be." Lyra's mind struggled to reconcile his words with the chaos unfolding around her. The crash of the vessel, the strange energy in the air, the eerie calm in his expression, it all seemed surreal. Could this be reality? Or was it some vision brought on by the storms? The human extended his hand, and after a tense moment, Lyra reached out. The moment their fingers brushed, a pulse of energy surged between them. Images flashed in her mind, distant stars, civilizations in turmoil, and glimpses of futures that had not yet occurred. Lyra gasped, withdrawing her hand, though the connection lingered. "You can see it too," the human whispered. "The threads of what's coming, the possibilities." Lyra's heart raced. Her species had always been attuned to energy, but this was different. It was as if the universe itself were opening before her, revealing its secrets. She glanced at the human, searching for answers. "Who are you?" she asked, her voice trembling. "My name is Kale," he said. "I'm an explorer, a traveler between worlds. I was searching for something, though I didn't know what it was until now." The air around them shimmered as the ship's energy began to stabilize, its hull emitting a gentle hum. Kale gestured toward it. "I think we're meant to leave. Together." Lyra hesitated. She had never left her planet, never crossed the boundaries of her world. The thought of venturing into the unknown terrified her. Yet there was a pull, an undeniable force drawing her toward the human and the strange vessel. I don't know if I can," she admitted, her eyes reflecting both fear and longing. "You can," Kale said simply. "And you will. But only if you choose to trust me and yourself." For a long moment, Lyra considered the choice. Her mind raced through every cautionary tale she had been told, every warning about the dangers of strangers and the unknown. But beneath that fear, something new had awakened: curiosity, hope, and the faintest whisper of excitement. With a deep breath, she stepped forward, placing her hand in his once more. The pulse of energy returned, stronger this time, wrapping around her like a cocoon of light. The world blurred, and for a moment, Lyra felt herself suspended between reality and something else, something greater. When her vision cleared, she found herself inside the vessel. The interior was unlike any architecture she had seen: smooth, flowing surfaces that seemed alive, walls pulsing with gentle bioluminescence. The air was breathable, warm, and tinged with a fragrance she could not name, a scent that felt like home and adventure all at once. Kale stood beside her, his expression calm but expectant. "Welcome aboard," he said. "You're safe here for now." Lyra walked cautiously, her eyes wide as she explored the vessel. It seemed to respond to her presence, corridors adjusting, lights shifting, as if aware of her emotions. She felt a strange kinship with the ship, a connection that mirrored the one she felt with Kale. "Where are we going?" she asked, finally finding her voice. "Somewhere beyond your world," Kale replied. "Somewhere you've never imagined. There are others like you, others with gifts, with knowledge, with destinies waiting to be fulfilled. And we have a part to play in that story." Lyra's mind swirled with questions. She wanted to ask about the energy surge, the visions, the threads of future. Possibilities she had glimpsed. But she sensed that answers would come in time, and for now, the important thing was trust. She nodded slowly, allowing herself to let go of fear, if only for a moment. The vessel ascended, breaking through the violet clouds and into the endless expanse of space. Lyra pressed herself against the viewing window, watching her planet shrink into a tiny speck amidst the stars. She felt a pang of loss, but also a surge of exhilaration. She was leaving everything familiar behind, stepping into the unknown with a human she had only just met, yet somehow felt she had known forever. Days, or perhaps weeks, time seemed different aboard the vessel, passed as Kale guided Lyra through the corridors and the ship's myriad chambers. He showed her devices that could manipulate energy, navigate star currents, and communicate across vast distances. Lyra's senses expanded, her mind absorbing knowledge at a rate she had never thought possible. And then, one evening, Kale led her to a chamber that seemed to exist outside space itself. It was circular, with walls of liquid crystal that reflected countless stars. In the center floated a sphere of pure light, pulsating in rhythm with Zyra's heartbeat. "This is the Nexus," Kale explained. "A place where possibilities converge. Here, you can see the paths your life might take, and the lives of those you can touch." Zyra approached the Nexus, her eyes wide. As she reached out, the sphere responded, expanding into a vast projection of galaxies, civilizations, and beings she had never imagined. She saw planets teeming with life, empires rising and falling, and individuals making choices that rippled across time and space. And then, in the midst of this cosmic tapestry, she saw herself, not as she was, but as she could be, a leader, a protector, a bridge between worlds. Her heart swelled with a mixture of awe and fear. The weight of possibility pressed upon her, but there was also a sense of purpose she had never known. Kale's voice broke her reverie. "This is your reality, Zyra. Not the one you left behind, not the one you imagined, but the one you choose to create. And I'll be here to help, to guide, and to stand beside you." Tears glimmered in Zyra's eyes. She had always wondered if there was more to existence than survival, more than the isolation of her planet. Now, faced with the boundless expanse of the cosmos and the infinite paths before her, she realized that reality was not fixed. It was something she could shape, something she could embrace. I believe," she whispered, the words feeling both foreign and profound. "I believe this is real. And I choose to step forward." Kale smiled, extending his hand. Together, they activated the Nexus, and the vessel surged forward, propelled by forces that defied conventional understanding. Stars streaked past them, worlds unfolded like pages in a book, and Zyra felt a joy so immense it threatened to overwhelm her. In that moment, she understood something fundamental. Reality was not merely what she saw, but what she dared to believe, to touch, and to become. With Kale by her side, she could face the unknown without fear, knowing that her choices, her courage, and her heart would shape the universe in ways she had only begun to imagine. As the vessel glided into uncharted space, Zyra looked out once more, her eyes reflecting the infinite possibilities ahead. She was no longer a girl on the edge of a forgotten world. She was a traveler, a seeker, a being capable of changing the course of destinies. And for the first time, she could truly say, without hesitation, that this reality, however unbelievable, was hers to embrace. The stars stretched before them, endless and alive, and Zyra let herself smile. She had stepped into the unknown, and in doing so, she had discovered that the greatest adventure was not just surviving, but believing and daring to live beyond the limits of her imagination. And in the vast silence of the cosmos, amidst the swirling galaxies and the pulsing energy of the Nexus, the Aliengirl realized that some realities were not only possible, they were waiting for her to make them real.